Hey, so today we're going to be talking about Mars, the Mars Cazimi that's going to be happening on the 5th uh, at 5:41 a.m. Central Time. And so when we're thinking about a Cazimi, first let's step back a bit and think about the fact that uh, the sun goes faster than Mars. So once the sun catches up to Mars, it starts getting closer and closer to a point where Mars will be in Cazimi with the sun. And so once the sun is within about 15 degrees, we would say that Mars is under the beams of the sun, which means that some of Mars's significations uh, have started to dwindle a bit. The things that Mars rule and the meanings of Mars, like what this planet signifies in your life. And if we look here, let's see, we see that Mars signifies usually action. That's probably one of the biggest things. Action. It could be challenges. It rules men, boys, brothers, fathers, grandfathers. Masculinity, and then it could also rule aggression, assertiveness, conflict, fighting, arguments, courage, bravery, war. It can also, I don't think I have it written here, but it can also represent like inflammation when it comes to the body or your health. Inflammation, it could represent you getting like hit or attacked or wounds. It can represent passion, uh, competition, survival, the need for survival, that kind of primal instinct. And so, like I said, once the sun gets within 15 degrees, this is when these traits start to dwindle a bit. Like they're not as strong. If they were strong, they're not as strong. They become a little bit weakened, just a little bit. And if you haven't noticed, like when it comes to a Mercury or a Venus Cazimi, because they move faster than the sun, usually it's when they catch up to the sun. So they usually will approach the sun, but because the sun is faster than Mars, it's when the sun catches up to Mars. And so once it gets within 8 degrees, about 2 to 8 degrees of when of Mars, or the Mars is within two of the 8 degrees of the sun, this is when we would say that it's combust, meaning that these same significations are probably, you'll start to notice, aren't even very existent, or at least they're very weakened, very debilitated, not strong in these areas at all. And this is because it's kind of like if you were outside, when it's 15 degrees away, it's kind of like being outside. It's sunny, but there's kind of blind spots. So if you kind of look, like the sun might blind you a bit and it becomes hard to see, you might be able to do what you need to do, but it kind of affects you if you're at a certain angle, it can affect you, the sun's beams, and that would be under the beams when it's 15 degrees or so. But once it gets to about 2 degrees to 8 degrees away, um, this is when it's combust, and it's more like if maybe that same circumstance exists, like it's really bright outside, but not only is it really bright outside, it's really hot outside. It's about 115 degrees outside. So now it just becomes really hard to do things that you might normally do when it's nice weather, like 70 degrees hot, but it's not too hot to do the things you want to do. When it's 15 degrees, especially in a humid climate, like good luck doing things even like walking or anything, talking, standing there talking, it might be too hot, you know. So, and then, this is also happening in Capricorn, the sign of Capricorn. So I'm thinking about mountains and mountain climbing. If you ever climbed a mountain or just like kind of hiked up a mountain, and you notice as you reach higher and higher elevation, it becomes hard to even talk. Like you just lose your breath. It like even something simple as that just becomes very hard to do while you're hiking. So yeah, I think yeah, once it gets to about those degrees, it gets combust. But then once it reaches within 1 degree, which I have here, and then even more so when it becomes exact, which would be around. So as you see, it's gonna take a minute before it actually gets exact. Let's look. It looks around here, around the ninth. Yeah, the ninth. It'll be exact. And at this point, it's even stronger than it is on the fifth. But once it's on the fifth, it's at that point, like at the beginning of this point of being a strong Mars. And within this degree, it's starting like it's within that degree range where you could maybe classify it as a Cazimi. And then once it's at on the ninth, it'll be more at the heart of the sun, and it'll be like exactly Cazimi. But basically, what this means is that it becomes stronger. Like all these traits become stronger, and after they went through that combustion stage, they gain like a rebirth. So it's similar to a new moon when leading up to the when the moon's leading up to the sun, it goes through the balsamic moon phase. And if you notice during this time, you'll see that it tends to be a little bit more, you might be a little bit more lethargic and drowsy and might feel a little gloomy, like your energy levels are low, like things aren't really like the motion, like there's not much motion, like you just the mood is off. Like you'll notice that leading up to the new moon, like the days leading up to that. And then once the new moon happens, oh, now you got a little inspiration, start planting seeds, goal setting, and things like that. And this is similar in a way where, leading up to when the sun gets closer and closer to Mars, it it starts to weaken Mars because of the sun rays. But then once it gets within the center, now it has this renewed faith and renewed sense of call to action. And now all these things like action, aggression, it becomes renewed, and you might see some new beginning in these things. So you might see like, okay, now you're taking some type of brand new action, or now you have some uh, a brand new sense of passion because of something, a new sense of courage. It's possible conflict could happen. You're all of a sudden feeling more competitive, like you're feeling like a survivor, like you're just feeling like you're born again in a sense, in this Mars energy, in a Mars way. And so once this happens, then yeah, now it starts a brand new cycle, which usually lasts, if I'm not mistaken, about 2 years, like a Mars cycle. But yeah, so now you have this brand new sense of Mars topics, and there's the Venus Cazimi as well that happened on January 2nd. And so it's similar but to that, but just with Venus topics. And then at some point, so if you see uh here, I can highlight all the planets, but as you see, Venus is close by as well. And she's also within that during the same period, she's also within a degree. So she's also in the Kazemi phase as well within that degree. And then it's not exact yet, but at some point that it'll be exact. And so this is all happening around the same time, as you can see. And then eventually at some point, Mercury also will catch up to the sun, and then it'll also have a Cazimi phase. So there's just going to be this new rebirth in, you know, action, Mars types things, relationships, love, Venus types things, and then Mercury, communication, conversation, thinking. And, you know, this is all happening in Capricorn. And so I believe for Mercury as well, maybe not. It looks like for Mercury, it's gonna be just. Well, it is, but the sun is gonna be in Aquarius, so it's gonna be more Capricornian and Aquarius things. But yeah, you know, it's let me see. Oh no. Um, it's gonna be a time where yeah, you notice that that these things are playing out like this. So I'm gonna come over here and then we'll look at 5 themes that you can expect with this Cazimi, this Mars Cazimi happening in Capricorn. So the first thing I think you might notice is you have this surge of ambition. Like that's one of the biggest things. Mars is very active, very go go go. Like that's Aries energy all day, which Mars rules. And so with Capricorn there too. It's I forgot to mention it's in Capricorn and it's exalted here. So it's not only is it this a time where you know it's getting this new strength, but it already feels exalted and like a strong, very strong Mars being in Capricorn to begin with. So it just seems like you know something keeps telling me that because on the 9th is when it'd be more exact. Something tells me that during this time, like there's gonna be some big things happening around this time because there's also going to be, if you notice, so there's Venus here, and then you also got Jupiter here, and they're almost exact. But if you just fast forward a few hours, let's see, I think it's the next day. Yeah, the next day you'll see how like Mars, the sun, they're at the same degree, Jupiter here across the pond, and then you even got the sun will also be at that same degree, making a T square. So making the T square where the moon will square the Jupiter and the sun and Mars and Venus. And it's just like, yeah, I feel like something definitely will be occurring around this time. And I would definitely keep my eyes out for this day and pay attention to these energies. But for the sake of this video, uh, Mars, or sorry, Mars and the sun in this Cazimi, um, you'll see a surge of ambition in Capricorn. Like that's what I think you could expect. And as you see for like an Aries rising, you'll notice that this could be happening in your career, your work. If you're in the public eye in some way, you'll notice that this is happening here. Like you just have this surge to really get after it in this area. If you're uh, if you're a Taurus rising, this could be in your 9th house, a surge of ambition to travel, a surge of ambition to learn more, like seek the truth. These are 9th house topics. Go further in your beliefs with your beliefs. If you have some type of faith or religion, you might decide, okay, let me really dive into this and learn the word of whatever it is that you believe fundamentally. Um, And yeah, and this could happen for all areas of the chart. And the next thing that I would expect to see is long-lasting stamina in whatever that may be. So yeah, if you're a Gemini rising, yeah, this is in your eighth house. So for you Gemini rising, yeah, I would expect maybe you might be realizing that if you're men, you might realize you might be lasting longer in your intimacy. Uh, this could be happening because the eighth house deals with intimacy. And so, yeah, for Gemini rising, it's not a bad thing. But also, you might realize that there's this uh, feeling that of I really want to commit to, what is it, ride or die type energy that might also be going on with this for Geminis. If you're a Cancer rising, this could be this is in your seventh house. So yeah, I think a similar energy, like a ride or die type of energy for relationships. You want to really go the distance with whatever relationship that may be, whether it's romantic, business partnership, friendship, like you're feeling that. And then if you're a Leo, this is in your work. So you might be finding yourself working long hours and having the energy and stamina to go, to keep going, to not get tired. You're in the office all day or whatever work you do, because this is the house of work, like where you actually like the work and the grind. You might find yourself going like the distance and not feeling like quite tired or feeling like you need to give up or anything. Um, and then if you notice that if you're a Virgo, this might be more towards those creative pursuits where you realize you're being more creative and going after your create like you're finding creativity coming to you, and it almost seems like it just keeps coming and coming and coming, and it doesn't stop. Like you're able to just do a lot of creation, and it's not a lot of blocks that you're experiencing during this time. So I think that's something you can definitely expect. And then another thing is bold, calculated action. Like I said, Mars is exalted here in Capricorn, and Capricorn is it's calculated, it's deliberate, it's like step by step type of processes, structure. And with Mars here, bold, and then like I said, with this Cazimi, it's just you you're more likely to be taking a lot of bold but calculated action in more than likely the right direction and accomplishing whatever it is you're setting out to do. So yes, for you Virgos and in your creative endeavors or romance, if you're a Libra rising, this might be in home matters, or if you're like looking to build a house, or you're building a family. If you want to build a family and you're really set on that, and you're like, hey, I'm gonna have 5 kids. I'm gonna have a wife uh, that's stays at home. I'm gonna have a 5 bedroom house, 2 bathroom, 2 dogs. Like if you're that calculated and set on what you want, yeah, this is definitely the energy for that. Um, if you're a Scorpio, this is in your third house. This means maybe your communication seems very on point. The message is getting across very succinctly. Like, yeah, you have no problem with that at this time. And then I would look for a sense of mastery. Like this might be a time where you notice either if you've been working on something, some type of skill or something like that, that this is a time where you're starting to reach mastery. because like with Mars, the action, and then Capricorn, consistent, committed action. The Sun, kind of like this rebirth, this new energy. Like you might notice at this time, like you're leveling up. So for some of you, that might be becoming a master. For others, that just might be reaching another level of some sort. And then for some of you, that might even just be this is the start of that journey to mastery. Um, if um, if you're a Sagittarius, this is in your second house, so like you might be mastering your finances and being able to save and budget and um, earn like exactly what you're setting out to earn in your life. And this is great energy for that, I think. Like it looks like any type of goals in that way, like in that arena, that area of life, like you'll definitely be able to see. And if you're a let's see, you're a Capricorn rising, this could just be how you're coming off. Like you're coming off as a master to people, because the first house deals with the self and how you appear. And so people might be looking at you like, man, you seem like a master at this time, a master of whatever it is that you do. You just might carry that energy with you, not to mention that you also have Venus here close by and there too. So, you might attract a lot of people, very attractive at this time. And so I could see that, yeah, people are looking at you like, oh man, this person is a master. And you got Jupiter over here, in the seventh house, the sign of others. And so there's just like, maybe people finding wisdom, because Jupiter deals with wisdom in their interactions with you. So yeah, very interesting stuff. Um, and then the last thing that I could expect to see is victory. You could, in whatever, if you're doing something that you're competing against or striving for, you could find victory in that area due to the fact that Mars is wanting to go action, and it's exalted, it's in Cazimi, like it's there's no stopping it. And then Capricorn deals with the top of the mountain, the long-term goal. So you're reaching this point of victory, accomplishing whatever it is that you set out for. And if you're a Aquarius rising, for example, this is in your 12th house, so it's a little interesting, but maybe this could deal with, on a positive end, if you have some type of spiritual goals, you could really achieve them during this time. If your goal is to rest, it sounds like, yeah, great time to achieve that. This is also the house of enemies too, though, like hidden enemies. So it may be, if there's somebody plotting against you, they might receive a victory. So, this can play out in different ways. So you never know, but yeah. And then if you're a Pisces rising, this is in your 11th house of goals, wishes, ideals, friendships, community. So you could really show up as victorious during this time in achieving whatever it is that you set as goals, as big grand goals, um, during this time. Yeah, like, so definitely good energy here, I think. I'm excited because I think around the 10th, it's just, we're gonna see a lot of crazy stuff probably in the news around this time. Just like something bold, big, wild, like amazing. Like I don't know. I can sense that this is gonna happen, but I'll stay tuned and we'll see if that prediction comes true. But in the meantime, yeah, let me know how this works out for you guys. And yeah, I'll keep making videos, and yeah, check in with you next time.